Hello everyone, welcome to Magical Me. I'm Jamie Mendez, intuitive, oracle, and energy sensitive, and I'm here with my weekly moon day guidance. So this is going to be a message for the week of June 28th, 2021. But before I really get into anything, I just want to check out how we're working with the live here. So if you could just let me know if you can hear me okay, if you're having any difficulties. With video quality, etc. This way, I know before I really get going. Hey, Jillian. Welcome, gorgeous sister. Thanks for popping in and being here. How's it sound this week? Has it righted itself from last week? Oh, good. Fantastic. Hey, Rosemaria, welcome. Nikki, welcome. All right, let me just do a sound check real quick again. All right. Hey, Dawn. Welcome, lovely ones. Thank you for being here. Hey, Julie. Welcome, gorgeous. Thanks for popping in. That's all right. I'm glad that you were able to. Thanks. Hey, Charles. Welcome. Annie. Welcome, lovely. Oh, thank you all so much for being here with me this week. All right, so I am not going to waste a lot of time today, so I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to kind of try to keep it short and sweet if I can today. Most of you already know, you may have seen from my posts, I had an incredibly long and very intense weekend. I was in a 3-day Egyptian Sekhem Reiki training with the lovely Julie White of Mystic Dragon Cove. And so that was very powerful, very intense. So I don't want to push myself too much today and overdo it. So I'm going to really try to keep it short and sweet as best I can. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Oh, thank you, love. Yeah, we got that Egyptian vibe going, right, Jillian? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to kind of just move through a lot of things. First, for those of you who might be new to Magical Me, welcome, and thank you so much for popping in. I do hope that you enjoy what you find here. Those of you who are not new and you are returning, thank you so much for your continued love and support, and I do appreciate you being here again. So every Monday, or as long as I am able to in divine timing, I try to go live here to bring forward a positive message for the collective. Really just to give us a bit of a heads up or an awareness as to what might be going on energetically this week, what we can expect. I do this a few different ways. So the first thing I like to do is go into my energy forecast, which is really just me kind of talking about anything going on astrologically or in the cosmos that has kind of fallen into my lap for us to talk about this week, to get that, awareness, because it's going to have a pretty big impact on us, or anything that I'm just feeling energetically and intuitively, as I am an energy sensitive and an intuitive. So again, I do kind of tap into the collective energy and I get messages based on that. Also, then I do pull forth a message utilizing oracle cards as well as my intuitive abilities to bring forward a specific message that the divine, for kind of, divine most wants us to know, again, for the highest and greatest good only. And this is all collectively, guys. I'm not doing personal individual readings here. I do offer personal readings. If you are interested, you can just send me a message on my page here or over at my sister business, Oracles of the Light, as we do offer an array of different services between us. And then after that, I like to pull a mudra for us to work with together. That really goes hand in hand, literally, with the oracle message and just gives us a bit of an added bonus to really facilitating any healing or expansion that needs to occur. Okay. So, hey, Laura. Welcome, love. Thanks for being here. I don't know if I missed anybody because this thing is moving pretty quickly. So if I missed anybody, I am so sorry, and just, know that I appreciate you being here and welcome. So how's everybody doing today? How do you feel? And how has your weekend been? Because, while I was in a very intense training, you know, the energy itself was still intense even outside of that. So just kind of want to check in and see how everybody's doing. Hey, Sandra. And Tracy, welcome. Thanks for being here. So I'll give people a little bit of a minute to kind of share if you choose to. Hey, Lori, welcome. And then I'm going to ask for some healing prayers. We can just take a moment out and do some healing really quickly. And I do apologize because sometimes these comments are very delayed. So or maybe if you want to just drop it in the comments, and then we'll, you know, go over anything once we're done with the healing part. So maybe we'll just go ahead and do that first. So some of you may have heard this. I actually just heard about it through one of my beautiful Sisters of Light, Cheryl Yambrick Rose. She's actually the artist of the work that you see behind me. Cheryl actually lives part-time in Glastonbury and part-time in Mount Shasta, California. And she had shared that apparently there's a lava fire currently about already taken out about 700 I think it said 700 acres of land and area, trees and whatnot, just near Mount Shasta, California. So Mount Shasta is considered the root chakra of the earth. So that's incredibly, on a symbolic message, you know, there. That's interesting considering root chakra is about our foundation. And that physical, you know, I am presence, if you will, the connection into our physical presence, our physical bodies. So it's really interesting. But with that said, you know, all of the people within that area are clearly in danger, at risk. All of the animals, the trees. So I'm just going to ask if everybody can just take a few minutes to just kind of bring yourself into your heart space and just envision beautiful, healing, love, light filling the area of Mount Shasta, California. Just sending love, protective energy to all the animals, all those people, beings within its path. Sending healing and love to Mother Earth, and also Cheryl specifically requested rainfall. So if you can just envision that what comes forward here is for the highest and greatest good, and just sending some positive intentions for those primordial waters of the earth and of the divine, just overflowing and pouring down into the earth, opening up the heavens and just pouring like an overflowing chalice into the earth, extinguishing the fires, preventing any further danger, any further spread. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking that moment with me. Mount Shasta is one of the two very special places in my heart. And, you know, anywhere in the world, whether it's special to me or not, you know, it's just devastating to see anything like this. So, yes, thank you so very much. And so it is. All right, so we're going to just go ahead and move on now. I'm just going to check some. Hi, Fran. Welcome. Oh, inner work done. That's fantastic. And it's absolutely right on point for sure. So I'll go ahead and get into just really briefly energy forecast in here and what I am feeling. I have specifically been receiving messages for a couple of days now. Hi, Robin. Welcome. Regarding the inner child masculine, I should say wounded masculine healing that's coming up right now. So what that essentially means is the, you know, we think about our inner child self, but, you know, oftentimes we just, you know, think of it in terms as just, you know, my inner child and what happened when I was, you know, from birth to such and such age. And, you know, we kind of go back and revisit. But this breaks it down specifically to your masculine energy and your masculine aspect, whether you are feminine, female or male, it does not matter. It's about that masculine energy as a child and any wounding that you may have endured or experienced or even carried into this life at that time. So you might be noticing any patterns right now surrounding, interestingly enough, the root chakra. I always see the root chakra as more masculine energy. I do see it as more of the Mars energy, even though sometimes, it's Saturn, but still I do see it as very much the Mars energy there at times. That warrior, where you were made to feel like you kind of had to, maybe you had to have some thick skin. Maybe you had to endure some situations where you were not able to be vulnerable. You were not able to really fully feel into experiences and situations because you had to put on that warrior, which is very much a status quo or conditioning that we may endure as as human beings here. So just maybe sitting with that the next couple of days if you can, especially because what we have going on right now is almost like soul retrieval wanting to come forward right now, which is like reclaiming our power from past patterns and cycles. And a lot of times when we talk about soul retrieval and past patterns and cycles, we go right into past lives. We want to go dive right into, what we might have incurred in past lifetimes. And that is very much relevant. It's very important. So that might be coming up where you might be feeling called to get a past life regression at this time. You might be called to, or you might be having dreams about past lives or different eras. That might not make a lot of sense to you, but there's a reason for it. It's because we are here healing a lot of these wounded patternings from the past. And it's coming up right now. It's like a full circle, what's happening for us all to really be recognized and for us to reclaim our power from it. Now, with that said, it is not solely past lifetimes. So I want people to also focus in the present, what you might be feeling or experiencing in your life that might be a little challenging emotionally, mentally, or even physically, and look through the decades in this life and see if you can't locate the pattern and then the root, because the pattern helps you find the beginning of it. All right, so really working to release the old, and it's for this really profound level of healing that's happening. We talked a lot last week about releasing the the death of the egoic mind and coming more into alignment with the divine mind. Well, this is part of that. So it's really helping, and the energy right now astrologically and with the light frequencies or activations that are coming in and downloads while we sleep, just in through the different, the Schumann resonance. All of this stuff is like collectively squeezing us to really go through the motions of releasing these patterns. And the point, again, is to reclaim your power, to remember your sovereignty, your divinity. Also, Jupiter, I do believe, just went, I think today, I know Jupiter is already retrograde, but it moved into, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Aquarius. It was already retro in Pisces, but I think it just moved into Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. So it's bringing up this whole like mental thought patterns, and so we can be revisiting past thoughts, limiting thought forms that don't serve us. So you're really being asked to analyze and really dissect everything coming up, and then recognizing what just does not serve you anymore, what just doesn't align with the life that you are wanting to live. Now, at the same time, what we have going on is Venus moved into the sign of Leo. And in this energy, for me at least, it's really about going after what we want. And this is like your time to really like go big or stay home, This is about making your dreams a reality. And when I say dreams, I don't mean it as some far-fetched thing, something that you only aspire to. Our dreams are very much remembrances of our soul's wisdom, of our contracts, or those aspirations that we chose to embody in this lifetime. So it's, again, this energy with Venus, and I want to say it's going to be in Leo until sometime mid-July. So with that said, it's really amplifying this whole what feels good to me, and releasing the fear surrounding the limitations or those imposed conditionings surrounding making your desires a reality, really kind of like stripping the veil away. And that's interesting too, because it really flows into what was going on as of last Friday. The planet Neptune went retrograde into its comfort zone of Pisces. And so this is really about the bigger purpose, the expansion of your soul, kind of coming into, moving away from the me perspective and evolving into the I am perspective and the oneness, so the we at the same time. So really looking beyond just this physical understanding of your life and seeing your life and your existence in your soul from that big perspective, and really allowing you now to start removing the veil of illusion and beginning to see who you are authentically. And this really taps into what I talked about last week already. So I find it also interesting that this weekend in the United States, we have Independence Day celebration. So whether you're in the United States or not, whether you celebrate Independence Day or not, that doesn't matter, because it is a symbiotic relationship that we have with everything and with everyone. So taking the energy of that Independence Day, what's that say but to embody your independence, stepping into your independence. And that means many different things depending on what's going on in your particular lifetime. But through a big collective message, this is stepping away from anything that does not does not allow you to be in integrity, does not resonate with your soul, is inauthentic. So this is also with that Aquarius energy I just talked about with Jupiter, which Jupiter being that planet of expansion. It's also asking you at this time to really look at relationships that you surround yourself with, and are they authentically in alignment with you? Are they authentic connections? Patterns, behaviors, whatever it is at this time that's coming up, you're really being asked to sift through. So it's like an internal decluttering of everything up until this point. So that's heavy. It's heavy, but it's amazing. So it's a really great time to sit down and prioritize me time to just come into yourself. Sit down, grab your journal, and just really examine what you're feeling at this time. And then start to really examine those big picture aspirations. And what do you want to do? And then how can you make this true? How can you live more in alignment with what you want to achieve or receive? So super potent stuff coming in. So that's going to be it for now. But again, all of this is just about peeling back more of those layers, removing more of that veil, that the illusion of the third dimensional paradigm kind of has over us all, and allowing yourself to expand into higher consciousness, revealing, the most important part of this is that it's revealing more of the true you, right? So again, I don't want to spend too much time on things. I'm going to move into our oracle message for the week as well. But let's look at some of your comments here too. I was briefly talking to one of my beautiful soul sisters here, and had mentioned the feeling very grumpy today. And that is an interesting feeling to have. I woke up this morning and I won't say that I felt grumpy, but I could feel a little bit of a heaviness in my head. I felt a little achy in my body too. And usually when that happens, it's because, not all the time, you're always supposed to listen to your own instincts and intuition and common sense and see a medical professional if you need to, or even your holistic professional. But sometimes the sudden pain that comes and then suddenly goes again can be also linked to some emotional or mental, very specifically emotional, woundings that are ready to come up to the surface to be released. And a lot of times how we get made aware that they're there is not only by triggers that happen throughout the day, with situations and occurrences, but also within our physical body. Especially if you're an empath or an energy sensitive, you may tend to feel things more on your body. So there's a lot of, again, those outdated past cycles that are coming up to be released. So they're going to come up through that physical aches or pains, but they could also come up through your mood and your energy. So be mindful of that. So when she said I was feeling grumpy, well, what do we break down grumpy to feel like or to be in? It's like an agitation, right? And agitation is what? It's like friction. And sometimes friction is essential to create an alchemical transmutation. So that is, the grumpiness is part of the friction coming up for the releasing of those emotions that are there, the past emotional woundings. Again, some of it can be very specifically linked to that wounded inner child, masculine inner child, but not limited to. Okay, so just a really good, it doesn't give you a license to take your aggressions and frustrations and irritations out on others, but it is important for you to sit with them, integrate them, understand them, give them voice, feel them. And when that's done, you set them free. Okay? All right. All right, let's see what I missed. Hey, Nadia, welcome, gorgeous. How are you? Thanks for being here. Hey, Lynette. She says, I have been getting the same message of independence. I love that. Gotta love those divine synchronicities. Which is interesting. I chose to wear my wolf necklace today from my spirit totem animal. Hey, Mom. You see you pop in. Welcome. So the wolf does, while it does get the whole, understanding of the pack, it runs in a pack. But it also has that duality where it does like to also be very independent and that lone wolf type of energy. So definitely that independence. So it's like stepping out of the old, stepping out of the conditioning, stepping out of the crowd. And, I just heard this, but I don't know that I really want to say it this way. I'm gonna change the wording. I change the wording, spirit. Stepping away from the mass consciousness, unplugging from mass consciousness. Okay. Nikki says it all makes sense now. Awesome. Hi, Jessie. Welcome. Robin says the moon kept me awake for a few days. Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. Well, we did just come off of that full moon last week, and still, even with those couple of days afterwards, we're still in that full moon window. But that full moon amplifies our emotional waters, pulling things up to the surface. And the most common time for us all to really be playing scenarios out is when we are in stillness. And bedtime is when we are most open and vulnerable to receptive and receptive to thought patterns or, the monkey mind. But things that might want to come up to the surface, not necessarily just the monkey mind stuff, but it's where we're able to process, because oftentimes throughout the day, we aren't silent enough. We're not still enough. But when we lay down at night, yeah. So hopefully if you can think about or really take stock of, or even grab a journal and keep it next to your bed and take stock of what's coming up to the surface. What are you thinking about? What thoughts are running through your mind as you're laying there trying to sleep? It's a good opportunity, again, because that full moon does pull things up to the surface to be illuminated. Okay. Robin, yes, you're freaking me out. Hey, Eleanor, welcome, lovely. Okay. All right. Dawn says she's planned on going to Shasta next year. Oh, well, I hope you get to go because it is lovely. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Robin. All right. So I have decided this week to work with the wild wisdom of the Fairy Oracle, just because I am really feeling those elemental energies kind of wanting to come out, speak up, cross the threshold and break those barriers of communication to communicate with us. So before I pull the card, though, I'm just going to ask all of you to just come into sacred space with me. And if you could just bring your awareness into your heart space and just take a nice deep breath in and release. Just really bringing your presence into that central point within your heart. Just going to go ahead and take one more nice deep breath in. And just allow yourself to release any tension or stress within your body or your mind. All right. So let's see what guidance wishes to come forward for the world as a collective's highest and greatest good for the week of June 28th, 2021. I knew this was going to happen. So I think we got this card a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, and it's so funny because I have to tell the story every single time this card comes out because I am stubborn and won't use a newer version of the deck. Hi, Allison. Hey, Carmela. Welcome. Thanks for being here. You just popped in after I finished the energy forecast, so you might want to catch that back on replay. But just pulled the card. It is a number 4. So interestingly, number 4 to me always brings that energy of your building blocks, your foundation. And it's interesting because we talked about really briefly the root chakra, which does also connect into that masculine energy, but it also connects into our physical roots, physical foundation, our stability, our ability to feel safe and supported and protected. And then you've got Mount Shasta, which for, well, at least I believe, is considered to be the root chakra of the earth. And the reason I said that is because there is a little bit of debate. Some people actually feel it is the crown chakra instead. And so, whatever works for you. I've had experiences where I think that it could go either way when I was there. So that's, and again, we talked briefly about there's currently a lava fire kind of, spreading pretty quickly in Mount Shasta right now. So there's this whole foundational cleansing, clearing, it looks like might be what's happening. But once again, we do want to pray and ask for rainfall to kind of minimize any danger and any destruction. All right, but going back to the whole root chakra with the cleansing, it's like the old structure has fallen. And at this point, all we see is this rubble. And there's just this mess that we have to clean up now. And, you might look at it and see, well, now there's a mess and it's blocking my way. And, look at the devastation that happened, look at what I've lost, that focus on lack. But with the number 4, to me, it also talks about the foundation shifting and the direction shifting. Because again, 4 can be looked at as the 4 cardinal directions. To me, I talked about this last week. I think our card was also a 4. And I talked about it looking like the number of divine perfection to me. So it does bring in this energy of the things being brought into this divine alignment for us, the perfect recipe for us to now gather up those building blocks, if you will, clearing the rubble, so sifting through what can be reused and what can't be, getting rid of it because we can't take it with us, it's just going to clutter up our way, and then gathering those blocks, and now look at what can you rebuild with this. Now you've got fresh, primed structure ready to be built upon. So your energy and your focus, what you put that energy into and what you carry and keep with you, will be what goes into your current foundation or your future foundation. So being mindful of that and only focusing on what you want and going after that, take off in that direction. Okay. The card, this is so awful. It's Story Keeper. There's a big old chunk out of it. I tell a story all the time. When Anubis, my puppy, was little, he actually was after a crystal that I kept inside the bag with this deck, and he grabbed hold of the whole bag and knocked the cards out. And then when I tried to take the crystal from him, he grabbed hold of this specific card and just kind of, when I went to take it, it yanked, and so he's got like a bite out of it. So it's like, take a bite out of your story. little goofball he is. But the card itself talks about being the writer of your own life, the writer of your own story. You know, you're the author of the life, and that goes into what I was talking about of you and what you take with you, what you accept, what you allow, what you put energy into is writing your story. So it's about you now taking that blank, you know, that blank page or blank book, and now this is about you literally filling it with what you want the story to look like. You are creating the life that you're living, all right? So also at the same time, this is about you leaving your legacy behind. Think about that. When you leave this existence, what do you want to be known for? What do you want this life to say about you? What do you want to leave behind for generations to come? What do you want it collectively to look like for our future, for our race, for our species, I should say? So this is about, really plays into everything I said in the energy forecast about us now really looking at life from that higher perspective, from the divine mind. And it's about the big picture for everyone, not just for our individual lives, but also for our individual lives. So focusing on you as an individual and where you're going and what you can do to live your divine plan, your destiny, what is meant for you. This is a reoccurring message, everybody. We've had this, I think it was last week or the week before, maybe. So it is a reoccurring message. So it's about, you know, what is meant for you and going out and get it. That's the energy now with that Venus and Leo that we've got going on for the next month or so, where it's really kind of like pushing us to do what feels good, to, you know, take what is meant for you, claim it. It's there. It's not going to fall into your lap. If you're waiting for some divine occurrence to align to make it happen, that's not the case. It's now about you putting your money where your mouth is and going out and getting it. All right. And sometimes you might literally have to vocalize what you want. There might be some, you know, if this is a job, this is you actually stepping up and saying, you know, I think I'm entitled to this promotion. I think I'm worthy of it. And why not? You know, this is you not holding back anymore from your greatness and your potential. Don't allow fear of the old to not write that story. Okay. So, story keeper, write your wisdom, take some time out, sit down, go into a sacred space. If it's in the woods, if it's in your yard, if it's in your house. Do you have a sacred space in your house? Because, we can't always get outside, but we can bring outside indoors. So you can make yourself a sacred space somewhere in your house. In my spiral temple journey, that I have a online feminine school, one of the very first things that we do, and I have my students do, is to create a sacred space, a place that is just them. No outside disturbances, no interruptions. Make that space as cleansed, as magical, as divine, as you as possible. And then grab your book and write away. And you'll be surprised what wants to come through from your higher self when you just sit there in stillness and silence and don't think and just feel and then write automatically. Some of the best stuff comes through that way. Dawn, take a bite out of life. Yep, absolutely. It's about you taking back your power and taking your future into your own hands. And what are you going to leave behind for your family or for the world? What role are you playing in the, are you co-creating for the betterment of the planet? Or are you part of what's not going right? And how can you shift that? Okay? All right, everybody. That is the Oracle message for the week. I knew that was going to come out. And what's funny is that I got this deck when this first came out. And there has since been a new version of this deck released. And I have it. But I refuse to use it. And I just don't know why. And so I always have to deal with that bite out of life. So there's definitely probably my magical puppy left us a prophetic message for the future. Oh, you are so welcome, Robin. Hey, Maria. Great messages. Thank you so much, beautiful. I woke up grumpy this morning too. Oh, well, thank you so much for saying that. And I hope that you're feeling better now. Or if it's still continuing, you now know what to do with that energy and how you can look to shifting it as well by clearing what it's bringing up for you. Meredith. Hey, welcome, love. Lately, I've been reflecting on how I want my next chapter to look. Good for you. Good for you. And I cannot wait to see what it looks like, gorgeous. Dawn, I am so in that place in my life. Good for you. Keep right on going on that track, lady. Allison, funny, just finished putting in a new floor in your kitchen. Oh my goodness, look at that. Laying the foundation. Literally. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the mudra for us. Hey, Teresa. Welcome, sister. I am on the mudra now, so you know that you can catch anything that you missed back on replay, but thanks for popping in. So I'm working with Mudras for Awakening the Energy Body by Alison D. Nicola. She also has an Elements version, so I love these. They're amazing. And it's because, working with mudras are so amazing. They're so powerful. They're not very complex. They can be. But when you're just starting out, or even if you just really want to really tune into your energy body, even in your physical body, pulling a card, kind of having like flashcards to say, literally, what does my body need? What does my energy body most need at this time? These are really fantastic. So both of them, you can't go wrong with. All right. So I like to bring forward working with mudras every week because a lot of people aren't aware of the power and the benefits that mudras bring to our lives. A lot of people don't know what they are. So mudras are a very ancient and effective tool used to literally awaken your energy body, to channel life force energy into your energy centers, to alleviate any energetic blockage in those energy bodies, such as your physical, your emotional, your mental, and your spiritual. And this can, again, create a positive flow of life force energy through your energy centers, which are your chakras, that then trickles into those energy layers, but then also can trickle into your physical body, and it can bring in alleviation of physical discomfort and disease into your body. There goes Anubis, by the way. So these also work to facilitate enlightenment and consciousness expansion. So they're very potent. They've been being used for thousands of years, namely by the ancient Tibetan monks, but not limited to. As you can see, many sculptures of statues of deities in different cultures are actually forming mudras. So mudras are formed with our hands, as we have, and the word mudra itself is Sanskrit. It translates into seal, or I see it as kind of like an energy activator, if you will. And in our palm chakras, or in our hands, we have palms, our palm chakras here. And so this actually activates the flow of energy. And then we have in our fingers, they're each connected to the 5 elements. So they also act as activators. So channeling your intention, forming the mudra with your hands, and then breathing at the same time actually does activate these seals, which then in turn activates those energy centers and brings in that flow of life force pranic energy, which then again distributes that energy out into those layers, which then helps that healthy flow. So I asked this message to come forward to really assist us in alignment with the message that came through. So to facilitate whatever growth we need in that alignment. And then also I like to do that here together. And then for anybody who can't participate right now or wants to work with it all week long, I take a photo and post it on my page for you to go ahead and save that to your phones. And then you are able to actually continue working with this mudra all week long, which is only going to further benefit you. Okay. All right, so let's see what mudra comes forward for the world as a collective for the week of June 28th, 2021. Oh my, if this doesn't say it all from what this entire message is today, it is the Dharma Chakra, and it is spiritual truth. Look at that. So this particular mudra works with integration, illumination, and vision. So being able to, when I talk about the veil being removed and being able to see the truth in situations now. We are now beginning to see things clearly as we release more and more. We come more into awareness of the effect and impact that past patterns have had on us and the egoic mind, bringing us more again into more of our divinity and seeing our spiritual truth. We are those spiritual beings at our core. It balances all systems and energy centers in the body. So now, just for those of you who aren't familiar with mudras, some mudras only work with one chakra and energy center. Some mudras work with multiple and some work with all. These can be so potent and powerful that sometimes they have cautions. This one does not, so we won't have to worry about that today. But just to kind of give you an insight as to how potent these are, this specific one works with all of the chakras. Not only that, it also then, if it's working with all of the chakras, it's working with all of your energy bodies at once too. But if you remember what we talked about last week on Moon Day, with the egoic mind into the divine mind, I compared it to releasing, kind of moving away from our karmic struggles, now being able to move into our Dharma, which is more of what is meant for us, into the divine, our divine plans or our destiny, if you will. So that's the Dharma Chakra. So just so magical. It supports full yogic breathing and enhances a sense of well-being. All right. So no cautions. Everybody is free to work with this. So what I'm going to have you all do is join the tips of the thumbs and index fingers of each hand, forming a closed circle. So both hands. All right. And then you are going to put your hands in front of the heart and touch the tips of the joined fingers together. Your left palm is going to face inward. Your right palm is going to face outward. Okay. Left palm, and I know it's probably back. I don't know if it's backwards or not for all of you. This kind of records backwards sometimes. So left palm facing your heart, right facing out. Okay. So I'm going to just have you close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And release the breath out of your mouth. Again, deep breath in. And release. You do this one more time. Deep breath in. And release. And you can state, I awaken the vision of my highest truth. I awaken the vision of my highest truth. I awaken the vision of my highest truth. And so it is. And you can open your eyes. And that's it. So as you work with this mudra, which is an incredibly potent one, as you work with this mudra, take some time out each day and give yourself a little challenge to, you can start out with the 3 breaths, and then the next day, increase it to 6. The day after that, increase it to 9. So the more you work with this, and the way that these mudras are worked with, it goes by the ancient, like the Pythagorean theorem of the 3, 6, 9. So I'm sure there's something even more ancient than that plays into it, which I do not know off the top of my head. But the 3, the 6, the 9, the 12. So working with that is really going to help to facilitate this empowerment of you coming more into this authentic expression of yourself and vision. All right? All right, beautiful souls. Thank you all so much for being here with me this week. I love you all. Once again, thank you for the blessings and the healing and the positive energy sent to Mount Shasta. For those of you catching this, just popping in now, definitely catch back the replay as we went into a little something for what is currently going on in Mount Shasta, California. And hope you all have a very wonderful week, a happy Independence Day, and love and blessings.